will ruin your life. Lying will ruin your life.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
People have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
I can promise you this. I will always tell you the truth.
Lying. The act of deliberately deviating from the truth. An act that we're all too familiar with, unfortunately. From both sides of the lie, if we're being honest. Studies show that children can learn lies from an early age, typically around 3 years old. This is because children start to realize that their parents aren't mind readers, so they think that they can say things without their parents knowing. At least that's what they think.
Hey Jack, did you eat a cupcake?
No.
You didn't eat a cupcake?
No, I was at home.
You sure you didn't eat a cupcake?
No.
Are you sure about that?
So where does lying come from? As in, what area of the brain is responsible for lying? Due to medical imaging equipment developed in the 20th century, scientists observed high activity in the prefrontal cortex when a person is lying. Interestingly enough, scientists have only been able to discover this over the last 50 years. But what if I told you that this knowledge was already mentioned 1500 years ago? You'd think I'm lying. But I'm not. In the Quran, the holy book that Muslims follow, this is actually mentioned, and it's one of the miracles that is mind-boggling if you think about it. During the time of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, there was a cruel, oppressive tribal leader named Abu Jahl, which means the father of ignorance. And in the Quran, Surah Al-Alaq, which is the 96th surah, in verses 15 and 16, Allah refers to Abu Jahl and his defiance by saying,
كلا لئن لم ينته لنسفعا بالناصية ناصية كاذبة خاطئة.
Which means, let him beware. If he desists not, we will drag him by the forelock. A lying, sinful forelock. Forelock in this description means the hair on the forehead, or it also means forehead. What's interesting here is, why does Allah refer to the forehead, or forelock, as lying and sinful? Well, the verse clearly shows that there is a link between the forehead and lying.
For many years, they didn't know what this part of the brain did. Now, the frontal lobes, here in the last 50 years, we've learned that these frontal lobes are concerned with some of the highest mental functions of animals and humans. So the Quran has described the relationship between the frontal lobes of the brain and the ethical behavior of human beings. And there is a surah, it reads, "Do you see one who forbids a servant of ours, God, when he turns to pray? Do you see if he who prays follows the guidance and enjoins righteousness? Do you see if he who obstructs, rejects truth and turns away? Does he not know that God sees? Let him beware. If he desists not, we, that is God, will punish him upon his forehead." A lying, sinful forehead. And the word used in the last two verses, which means the forehead is, in this statement, we believe refers to the frontal lobes of the brain.
What's interesting is that 3 verses later, God commands Muslims to do the act of sujud. And for any Muslims that have done sujud, we know that in that prayer for the first time, we put our forehead, this area that is linked to lying, in full submission to the ground. And if we analyze the position that we're in during sujud, our forehead is beneath our heart, which gives us a space to quiet the mind and let the soul speak. These verses are interesting to reflect on, as it clearly shows, first off, the miracle of the Quran and how this was mentioned 1500 years ago, before anyone had any form of medical imaging equipment and scientific research to discover all this, as well as the fact that it highlights how important it is to do sujud and the beauty of it.
God orders Muslims to perform sujud, that is, place your foreheads on the ground, as stated in the continuance of the Quranic verses. Then let him call his associates. We will call on the angels of punishment. Then follow not him, but prostrate yourselves and draw nearer to us, that is God. This order to perform sujud means we should place the center of our will and decision-making processes on the ground to show absolute submission to God.